or anybody that wants to replay back, you have 2 videos to watch. You have my videos, and then you have the TestNG videos once we're done. All right, so Pranita, yes, Pranita, you can go off mute. If you have a question, please go off mute.
Hi, good morning, Ty.
Hi, Pranita.
This is a very unfortunate thing that happened, like our class got cancelled. But with me and the other folks think that this last class should be taken in the class, because Selenium is a very important thing for us, and we have too many questions to ask regarding the last class also. So if others will speak, because we were all discussing about this thing yesterday on the group.
Okay, let me finish this class first, and if you guys want an in-class session, we can schedule something in the week, midweek, maybe Wednesday and Thursday. I can meet with you guys in the office, and, finish up, basically repeat this class again if you guys want.
Okay, that's fine.
All right. Okay. So
Thank you so much.
I see already. Yes, Ty. Thanks. So maybe we're gonna have a midweek. It looks like we might have a midweek class as well. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
No worries. Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. So
Thank you.
Yeah, you guys are welcome. I feel bad as well, because I know Selenium is really important, but one thing is you will do a lot of this in your co-op. So I know that anything you don't get here very well, by the time you're in the office, with Adib, Swati, myself, and others.
Because the co-op mail said that, it's not going to be spoon feeding, and there was a thing mentioned that, if you're not able to work on this in the co-op, you might even get us out of it, right? So it really scared us. So we wanted to be sure that we know this properly before we get into the office, and we really want to contribute to you guys, right? We don't want to be a pain.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. That email was to kind of set you guys, to the standard we're expecting.
Right.
A lot of students expect co-op to also be a classroom extension. It's not really a classroom extension. It's real work. And, we have real deadlines. So we expect there's some pressure.
Yeah, that's understood, because it's going to be a live project which we are going to be working on. So we wanted to be sure. And I guess everyone over here feels the same. It's just that I came up and I spoke about it.
All right. Sounds good. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let's have a quick recap on the last class we did. So we started the Selenium product, and we spent some time trying to install the Selenium package. And I think it's probably better now. You guys can see my screen. Very quickly, I told you guys there are 3 things you need when you're trying to install Selenium. The first one is a Selenium Java library file. And you guys installed version 3.14 in class. I have version 3.8 from my last batch. And I told you guys that this is because we are using the Java programming language. The mute button. Okay, Satna, I'll mute you. I can mute you from here. Let's see. Okay. Tangent, can you go on mute? And I see somebody else. Okay. And there's someone calling from a phone number, 647-831-1630. Please go on mute. Thanks. Thank you. All right, so I told you guys this package or this combination is because we are using the Java programming language. Selenium also understands Ruby. He understands Python. He understands a few other languages that you can combine it with. So once you have that, I advise everybody to put it in your C drive just for easy access. So in the C drive right here, you can see I have my Eclipse folder where I put everything that has to do with automation. So in there, I have my eclipse.exe. I also have my Selenium Java 3.8. You can see the other old ones. So Adip is saying, I'm not hearing anything. So Adip, turn on your speaker. You can hear me. You have to turn on your speaker on your laptop. And we have 3.13. I think you guys have 3.14. So that was the first thing we had to do to get Selenium installed. Now, the next thing we had to do was we had to decide on how many browsers do we want to run Selenium on. So in class, we chose to run it on Chrome and Firefox. Someone just joined that is not on mute. Can you please go on mute? I think that's Jasprit. Thank you. And in class, we chose 2 browsers, but you guys saw on the website, you can run Selenium on any browser, essentially, on Opera, on Edge, you know, on any other browser, I think IE as well. You can also download the folder. So that was the next thing we did. And in my C drive, you can see the same thing I did. It was a zipped folder that once you download it, it's going to look like this, as Chrome driver _ Win32, and I told you guys how to unzip it. So to unzip it, you just right click and you say extract all, and that will create a folder that looks like this. Then the next step was the Firefox browser, and I also told you that the name is slightly different. It's called a Gecko driver. So we downloaded that as well on the website, and it was something that looks like this. And once you unzip it, you have this folder. So once you have those 3 things, you're pretty much good to go. So the next step is now to go into Eclipse and create a Java project. So we did that as well. We created a new project, a new Java project. And I can call this maybe, you guys are the summer batch, so I'll call this Summer Saturday. And everyone should know how to do this by now. If you don't know, then I'll be very nervous. But everyone should be able to create a Java project. Then once we have a Java project, everyone knows the next thing to do is to create a package. And you can call your package, you know, anything essentially. I can call this Saturday. And, you know, if you want to start writing your Java code, you create a class. Now, to connect Java to Selenium, we have to go bring in those Java Selenium libraries. And the way to do that is to right-click on the project name, and you go to Properties, and you go to Java Build Path, and you add your external jars. So in the last class, a lot of you had problems doing this. I noticed some of you didn't bring in all the jar files. Some of you didn't unzip it. You know, those were the problems I noticed. But if you had to bring everything in, and if you want to select more than 2 files, you will hold down your control keyboard and you select the first one and the second one. You press open. You have those 2 files in here. Then you do it again for the jar files inside of the library. There's an easier shortcut, Control A, that will select everything. Or you can also hold down the control keyboard and just work your way through, you know, one at a time. Like that. All right, so once you have all this in your libraries, then you can say apply and close. And once you do that, the way you know that your Java is now connected to your Selenium is you're going to have a reference library. That's essentially the Selenium library. Without this, Java would not understand any of your WebDriver commands. So it was easy done right now, but I know in class it took us a lot of time to get everybody on this page. But that's essentially the first thing you have to do before you start automation. All right. So then let's go back into our class notes. So we explained why Selenium is very popular, why everyone likes to use Selenium. It's free, it works across different browsers, it works across different operating systems. These are some of the features that we spoke about as well. And some limitations on Selenium. And the one that jumps out at me is you need to have some programming skills, to use Selenium. And that's why we've spent 3 weeks teaching you Java. Can that person go on mute? I can hear some background noise. Thank you. I think the person, okay, I'm just going to unmute you myself. I'll mute you myself. Let's see. So it's Sri Devi. I'm going to mute you. Yeah, you have to go on mute, but I don't think I'll mute you. Okay. If you have any questions, I have to unmute you. So just put a comment and I will unmute you. Thank you. All right. So I also spoke about the limitations of Selenium, and I told you guys before Selenium came out, a lot of us testers did not need to have Java programming skills to do automation, but these days this is expected, and you guys, I believe, have such skill. Selenium also just works on a browser because Selenium is essentially a browser controlling tool. That's all it does. I can still hear somebody. Let me see. Sri, you've gone off mute again. I'm going to mute you, Sri. Please stay on mute. Thank you. Okay. But if you have a question, you can go off mute and ask me the question. So that's the limitations of Selenium as we know it. Then I explained the Selenium family to everybody in class. And I said for we testers, you guys are going to use most likely WebDriver, in your company when you get a job. For the companies that run thousands and millions of automation tests, they tend to use Selenium Grid. And it's the same thing, but Grid is essentially just a parallel version of Selenium that allows me to run multiple tests on different servers. And, but a lot of you, when you join a company that is running only 500, anything less than 500, you don't really need the Grid. I also told you guys it's always very good to know the latest version of the WebDriver you're running, because in interviews, they might ask you. And you sound like one of us if you know what version. Hardeep is trying to present. Hardeep, do you really want to present? Okay, I guess that was an accident. All right. So the latest version of Selenium is 3.0. You guys can, please don't forget that, the version you're running. Then I've given you all the links to know where to go to download, all the versions. Now, when I say Selenium 3, I'm trying to tell you guys are 3.14. The reason why we don't mention the other version is because that changes every month. So we typically just say, oh, I'm running Selenium version 3. But if you want to go in detail, you can say, oh, I'm running Selenium 3.14. It's essentially up to you. Then we showed you guys how to extract it. I think we've done all this, so we can skip all of this. Okay, Then we get a very simple test case that a manual tester might maybe want to run. And this test case is saying, if I go on this website and I want to verify that a user can log in, that's what I'm trying to verify. When you're doing it manually, because you are there, you kind of know if you could log in successfully or not. Because when you push the login button, something happens. Either the page will change, so that's a pass or a fail. Now, in automation land, it's not as simple as that, because the computer doesn't know if a change of page is successful or failed. So we need to tell it that, okay, if you change the page and the page title matches what I'm expecting it to match, then you're in the right page, and that's a pass. So this is a test case that we automated in class. And how did we do it? Before we could do it, we had to go get the browsers. So we've done this as well. I've shown you guys the different versions of the browser. And we have to tell Java and Selenium where to go to find that browser file. So this is why I told you guys to always put it in your C drive so that this link is not too long. And don't forget as well, on your computer, this arrow is the other way around. So if you had to copy it directly from your computer, I can show you what I mean. If I was to copy this link now, say Chrome driver, from my computer, if I put it in Notepad, you can see that is a forward-leaning arrow. But in Selenium, if you notice, this is a backwards-leaning arrow, and in Selenium is a forward-leaning arrow. So don't forget those little things. It might make the difference between having your code work or not work. Also, don't forget we have a double. So once you change the direction, the first one that tells Selenium this is the drive, this is the main drive, is always a double. And then the other directories are just a single. Now, some of you also forgot the name of the file. So if you only put this in your code, Selenium still is confused because it's looking for this exe. That's what will kick off your Chrome browser. So please don't forget to actually put the actual file, which is your Chrome driver.exe. Okay. Then we moved on. I showed you, and I told you guys that essentially every script you write, you're most likely going to start the script with this system.set property. That will be very common in most of your script. Everyone should know what we're trying to do here. Now that we've set the system property, we're creating an object of the Chrome driver class. And we're calling it, you can call it anything you want to call it. I call it driver. That's the standard in the industry. But you can call it D, you can call it A, you can call it B. It's essentially up to you. Now, once you have that name driver, you're going to be using the driver pretty much for every single line in your script. And the driver gives you access to a lot of methods. And the first one you most likely need is you want to open up some website that you're about to automate. And we use the get command for that. Then I explained the close, and I said the close is how you shut down your browser, and that's most likely how you finish all your automation tests. Then I gave you the different properties if you're trying to use a different browser. So I think in class we tried Chrome and we tried Firefox. And a few of you had some issues with Firefox, but I hope Adip was able to help you guys during the week. He told me he was, and I saw him helping a few of you in your labs. But if you're still struggling, then either when you come into the office, you can have Adip also help you there, or message him once we're done the class. Then I gave you guys a second script. I said, okay, with the same code, use a different browser. Open up your Facebook and shut it down. And I think everybody got excited, for the first time. Everybody was able to see some automation open up in a different browser and close itself. And it happens really fast, so you might even miss it if you have a very fast internet connection. Also, we know that this is a main method. So when you're creating a class for automation, you will use a main method. Now, we mentioned the GUI element. In Firefox, yes. In Firefox, with the new version, the add-ons doesn't work, so we have to write the XPath manually. Kindly explain relative or absolute. Okay, I will do that. Now,
Chai, Devashi this side. Good morning.
Good morning.
We can get the XPath working on the new version as well as run the 56 version parallelly. I have done that, and so we don't have to exactly write the path manually. We can do the same old thing and get the output running on the quantum version.
Yeah, very good. So that's what I do as well. Very good.
So what I did is I downloaded a portable version of 56 from the Mozilla Firefox repository and running it without installing it and getting that thing going on, and the output would be run on quantum version because that's installed, so that's indexed in the laptop.
Well done. Very good. Good idea.
So this will save us writing the entire code. We can still use the functionality of the add-ons.
Right. Yeah. I actually have, an easier way of. I was thinking of giving you guys Selenium 3.8, and as I told you guys are seeing now that every time there's a new version upgrade, we developers and testers and people in the IT industry, we don't get excited because we don't know how that new version would affect everything we do. So when Adib told me there was a newer version, I was like, I teach, so I'm just going to use what I used in the last batch, that worked properly. So I was not giving you guys version 3.8, instead of version 3.14. But I'm glad you found a way around.
Yeah, that was like if you don't, trust the exe version on the internet, we can easily make that portable as well. That is also there. We can make it our own portable version as well from the normal exe installer that we have.
Yeah, very good. So yeah, the virtues send to your classmates. Just send out an email to everybody on how you did it and what you did, so that everybody else can try what you've just said.
Yeah, what I can do is even at the end of the class, when you're finished, I can give a small demo and I can give the website as well, and all of us can download it right away. That's easy. No. I have it ready.
Okay, I'll pass control to you.
Yeah. Once we are finished, we can do that in 5 minutes. I'll help everybody. No worries.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Okay, so where were we? GUI element. So as I was telling you guys, the bulk of your work in automation will be trying to find the XPath of a GUI element. And I told you guys there are majorly 6 or 7 types of GUI elements that you'll be looking for the XPath. And that's typically a text box, which is you're trying to send some keys, to the text box. A button, which is you're trying to click on the button. A link, which is something that is blue, highlighted, or takes you to a different page, and you're also trying to click on that link. A radio button is when you have, you can only pick 1 or 2 options, or 1 or 3 options, or 1 or 4 options, and that's also a click, I believe. A checkbox, it's I think is also a click, where you can select more than 1 options. And this one here, I told you there are many ways of doing it. No, sorry, I think that's the drop down. So this is also a click. You can easily click on the XPath and off you go. Now the drop downs, they're a little bit complicated because you have to create a new class, right? So new select before you can put your XPath driver.find. But once you get the hang of it, it's the same code in and out. And in class, I told you guys to use Facebook, and I said everyone should select their date of birth using Facebook. And also, there are different ways you can select, the values. There are 3 different ways. I prefer the name I can see, so I prefer no preference, blue sky, ununified airlines. Some people prefer indexes like 0, 1, 2, 3. Some prefer the position, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. Whichever preference you like, but there are 3 different ways you can interact with a drop down. And lastly, image. So image is, pictures, graphics, design, things like that you find on most websites. Okay, so the next slide, if I can, okay. So how do we find this GUI element? I told you guys your batch is very lucky because XPath is now, what everybody uses. But in the old days or even the previous batches, we had to teach them different ways of finding a GUI element. And I said, we can find it by an ID, we can find it by name, we can find it by CSS selector. If it's a link, we can find it by the name of the link. But today, the industry standard is everybody just uses the XPath. Straightforward, pretty easy to use. And how do we use the XPath? We downloaded a add-on tool called WebDriver Element Locator, and that actually gives you the entire code where you don't have to even remember the Selenium code. But for the ones that couldn't get it working on the newer version of Selenium, I'm sure I deep taught everybody how to use your native Firefox. So all the browsers as well, they've caught up. They know how popular these element locators are. So they've built an internal one as well that you can easily use. And thanks, Pranita. So I did teach you guys. For the ones that are still in doubt on how to use it, I'll quickly show you. If we go into Firefox right now, so let me escape from this. Open up my Firefox. And if I was to go to Facebook, and I'm trying to find the XPath for this guy. I believe it's really simple. You right-click on it, and you say Inspect Element. So assuming you don't have, this would not work for you guys, right? So you say Inspect Element, and once it's there, I believe you just right-click on this guy, and you say Copy XPath. Copy, yep, XPath. And voila, you have the XPath given to you. If I paste the XPath here, then I have something like this. Yes, you're right. This is still not as easy. I mean, it's still not as easy as having the web element locator. But let's compare. Let's see what is. Let's compare both of them. So I told you guys always take the ID or the name. That should be your first choice. If I take this ID and I paste it here, you can see. Can that person please go on mute? There's somebody that I can hear the background noise. Okay, thank you. So you can see essentially it's giving you this, and this star is basically saying it doesn't matter. It could be input, it could be anything. it will still work. But essentially, what it's giving you is everything inside of this bracket. Now, the only downside is you have to remember the code, which is driver.find element by XPath. Then you now, and semicolon, then you now copy this and you paste this in here. And you have to remember your number of brackets. So you have 2 open brackets, 1 here, right, and 2 here, and you can always close it, 1, 2. Okay. I don't still like this. I told Adip, we're fighting, both of us in the office. I'm like, I don't still like this because they have to remember so many things. And he was like, well, they're in IT now, we can't spoon feed them so much. So anyways, either way, you know how to get your XPath, and all you have to remember is, this code, which is the same every time. So it shouldn't take you much time to remember it. But if you want to still be, if you want to be spoon-fed and you still want to use your web element locator, you can do what I'm doing, which is I don't upgrade my Selenium, I don't upgrade my Firefox, or we can try what Debugging will show us at the end of the class. Alrighty, so let's get back into the slide. So that's how we find the XPath for different GUI elements. Chrome has the same thing as well. Chrome, if you right-click on the GUI element, you press Inspect Element, and you copy the XPath, is also just as easy. But this is still my favorite because I don't have to remember anything. Now, I spoke about this already, but you have a slide just to remind you on how we communicate with different GUI elements. So the text box, we are always sending keys to the text box, or we always clearing the text box. And I told you guys sometimes you might need to clear it first before you send keys to it, for obvious reasons. But you decide if you need to use that command. For radio buttons and checkboxes, we click. For links, we click. For buttons, we click. Some people use submit. That's an older way of clicking, but that works. It still works. And the more complicated one is drop down, and there are 3 different ways of doing that. I prefer the visible text. I think it's straightforward, but you can use your value, or you can use your index. In the old days where we taught them how to get the ID, we showed them how to read, the ID from the code. But you guys don't have to worry about that today because it's all by XPath. So we skipped all this. Then I gave you guys an exercise. I said, log into your Facebook. And I think everybody tried, I hope you tried to open up your Facebook account and log into it. So this is my email password. This is the button. And that's how I closed the Facebook. Then this is where we started playing with different GUI elements. So we're trying the link over here, and we also tried the drop down. And in the drop down, I told you, you have to create a new select. So select here is the class you have to call, and then everything else stays inside. Your code stays inside. Now, please don't forget when to close your bracket. So I noticed some of you had that problem in class. So the select bracket closes right here, not here, but it closes here. So please pay attention to that bracket. Then we spoke about Assertions, and I told you guys that Assertions is your way of passing or failing your automation test. Because don't forget, you're not going to be there when your test is running. And when you get back, or maybe somebody else that might even review your results, we need to know easily if your test passed or your test failed. And there are many ways of doing this. QAs always like to use page titles, just because they are easy to verify. And there's a code, there's a method I can call that will tell me the page title of the page that is currently at. And I showed you guys as well where to get a page title from. So let me escape this slide. If I'm on a website and I'm trying to get this page title, I can, this is it, Facebook login or sign up. But what if, it's such a long page title and I want to see it properly? What you can do is you can right click on the website and you can say view page source. And that will show you the HTML code of the page. And what you have to do is, don't get nervous, don't get scared. You have to find, there'll be a tag called page title. You can easily just do command find and say page title. And right there you can see this is a page title. So what you're looking for is this right here. So that's your page title. Let's try a different website. Maybe let's try, let's pick this guy here, right? So the page title here is easy to see, Welcome Mercury Tours. But what if, it was a very long page title and you're trying to copy it? You can just right click and you say view page source. And the same thing as well. Some websites, they give it to you like this. It's really easy, title, right? But Facebook, they typically add a lot of security things to their page, so you can automate easily. That's why Facebook is slightly scary, but you can just find it. But on Mercury Tours, the page title is quite obvious. It's within this tag. Welcome Mercury Tours. So that's how we get the page title, and this is how we use driver.getPageTitle to get the different page titles. So then we tried it out. We said, okay, let's go on this website. By now, I hope everyone should be able to read code. Everyone should be able to tell me what the code is doing. So we created a string, and we said, let's go to this website. And once we're there, create a new object of a Firefox browser. And please know that this code would not work because I haven't set the system property. So a lot of you are trying to copy this code word for word, and it wasn't running because, yes, you need to set your system property. Remember what I told you? Every code needs this line. So please, I assume you guys are advanced by now, and you should fix your code properly. Because sometimes I want to show all the code within one page, and I don't want to make it too tiny, the font. I leave out some things that I think are obvious to you guys. So we set our system property. Selenium knows where to go to open up the browser. I've given it my base URL. You don't have to save this as a variable. I'm just showing you there are many ways to do it. I'm saving it as a string variable, and I'm passing that variable to my driver.get. And I'm saying this is my expected title. So I went to the website, I copied the page title, I came back to Eclipse, pasted it here, and I'm saying this here is my expected page title. Now, this guy is, I don't know where he is, but I think he's on the page. So I'm saying, okay, can you get me the title of the page you are? And please save that as a string and call it actual title. You can call it A, B, whatever, it doesn't matter. Then I'm calling the equals method of the string class to say if this equals this, then I know you're in the right place. And maybe that's a pass for you. Else, I know you're in the wrong place, and that's a fail for you. And I'm closing the browser. Then I gave you a little exercise. I said, try to log into Facebook. Yes, Pranita.
So Ty, every time we create a test case, an automated test case, the assertion is going to be in if and else format only?
There's another way of doing it, which I'll show you today.
Okay.
But the reason why I showed this to you first is because I taught you the string class.
Okay.
So this will come natural to you.
Mm-hmm.
But there's another way of doing it, and you learn that today.
All right. Thanks.
All right. So I said, what about sometimes where you have a changing page title or a very complicated page title where some parts of it is changing, some part is not changing, and this is where your Java comes into it. You can bend Selenium whichever way you want to do it. And I said you can use contains. You guys gave me some other ideas, substring. There are many ways of getting around that kind of problem. So we skipped all this stuff because we said everyone uses XPath today, so we don't need to teach you CSS or name ID and all those stuff. All right, so XPath is what we all use today, and I think I got a question on what's the difference between an absolute XPath and a relative XPath. And the difference is, let's start with, what's an XPath? Let's start with that. What's an XPath? Excuse me. Sorry, let me just pause and pick up this phone call. Sorry, guys, I'm going to go on mute so I can pick this up. Okay, sorry about that. So what's an XPath? I think for the people that don't know, XPath is an IP address. It's like a unique address for every GUI element. Is a way for the browser to find, okay, where are you located? And every GUI element has an XPath, or a unique ID. So that's what an XPath is. Now, in the old days, we used to have what we call the absolute XPath, which was a very long and annoying address or IP address. And it's essentially, it started from the top and it walked all the way down to the bottom, where it tells you the table row. If you guys remember, I told you a website is essentially an Excel spreadsheet. That's what a website is. You guys don't see the Excel spreadsheet, but the computer does. So I might put my Facebook sign-in page right here. Maybe this is where my username is on this cell. This is where my password is. Maybe my login button is right here. Then maybe I have some GUI right here. That's what a website looks like. So the XPath in the old days was saying, if you want to get to this guy, they'll tell you start from here. So go here, then come down 1, 2, 3, 4, then go across 1, 2, 3, 4, then you find it. And that's why the absolute XPath is always very long. If I will show you an example, which you guys don't have to worry about anymore in your generation, we don't have to teach that anymore. But that's what the absolute is. Now, some wise guy came along and said, why do we need to have all this very long, annoying absolute XPath? Why don't we just have a shortcut right? And we'll call it relative. And we said, voila, that makes sense. So the relative XPath is a very short way of trying to find your GUI element. And that's better because anything shorter will make your code run faster. It will make you do less mistake because there are less things to worry about. And it just looks cleaner. The code looks cleaner. So relative, you notice that it always has, now this is absolute. Look at the old days. We'll start from the HTML, the body, the first cell, then the second cell. Then once you're in the second cell, go to, row 2, then find the form, just to find this little guy here. Look at how long the XPath was. So you guys are really lucky today that automation is a lot user-friendly. Today, nobody really worries about it. More relative, know that it has double. So if you notice, all your XPath that is relative always has a double / So that's why you see them, it looks like this. Double input something, double input something. And I think even you guys might not even need to worry about absolute anymore. It's old technology. So that's the difference between absolute and relative. If they ask you in an interview, you can smile and tell them, hey, since you started automating, you've always been using relative, but you know that absolute was the old way of finding GUI elements. So now look at how small this is. It's just a very, very small, neat, clean way of finding the same GUI element. Yes, Deverchi, you can go ahead. You can go off mute.
I just have one question. As the relative XPath always starts with a double forward slash, right? So what essentially that depicts, right? Is it like anything on the page, anywhere on the page, something like a wildcard, or what is it?
Yeah, I didn't want to go into much detail, but it tells the browsers, because browsers are a lot faster today. And once we had memory, right. Once computers became so fast, this is essentially a search. It's saying just search anywhere on the page where you have an ID that is equal to email. So that's how it finds it. Whereas the absolute, you're not searching, you're actually literally going there.
You're going there, yeah.
You're just going step by step. This is just saying search. /, oh, I'm searching. What am I searching for? ID's email. Oh, okay, right there. And this is possible because laptops are a lot powerful today. Servers are a lot powerful. Memory is a lot cheaper. So that's why these things, we prefer them. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Thank you.
Now, I showed you guys other ways of creating your own XPath. God forbid if you use your your plugin and you're still getting element not found exception, and you've tried inspect element, still not getting found. Maybe you can create your own XPath, but you guys probably would not need to do this as well. This is like old, really old technology. These new add-ons, they're really, really good. And the browsers as well, they're really accurate. So you guys are lucky. You can see how simple it is to teach automation today than it was, say, last year. It was, they had to learn a lot, students last year compared to you guys. So we can skip this as well. We can skip how to create your own XPath. But if you're intrigued, you can always play with it and read the class notes. Okay. Then we moved on to popular commands that automation testers tend to use on the job. And the first one is your close. Everyone knows how to close a browser. And I told you quit is to close multiple browsers or multiple tabs, open of a browser. It's always safer to use quit because you know that everything will shut down and your computer can go to sleep, and save some power or memory while you automating. Then we have the conditional commands. This might be your way of doing assertion if you don't want to use page title. Maybe you get to a page and you're expecting some button to be disabled, and maybe that's your way of knowing you're there, or that's your way of knowing the test case passed. Then you can use any of these commands. Don't forget they're conditional, so that means they are Boolean. So they return a true or a false result, and you can use them as needed. Wait is something you're going to use a lot, because I told you guys most of the time Selenium tends to be faster, than your website. The website speed depends on the day, right? There's so many things that control the speed of the website. If you have a lot of users that day, a lot of testers that day on the server, things might be slow. If there's a holiday where no one is testing, things might be fast. So how do you control that uncertainty? The way to do it is to slow down your Selenium and say, okay, thank you, but no thank you. So that way, at least you're in control. And I told you guys, we have two different ways of slowing it down. The first one is implicit. And from the name, implicit, I'm giving it exactly a specific time to wait. To say, wait 10 seconds, wait 5 seconds, or wait 20 seconds. And it does that every time it runs your script. Whereas explicit is slightly better. It's more of a conditional wait. And that goes along the lines of wait until something happens, or wait until something is visible, wait until a button, is visible. And if that takes 5 seconds, you only wait 5. If that takes 10 seconds, you only wait 10, instead of the constant wait. So in interviews, if they ask you, which wait do you prefer? A lot of us prefer implicit because there's only one line, but which is better? We know that explicit is a lot better. Then the other commands are kind of your operational commands. Get, you want to open a new website. Get title, you want to get the page title. Maybe if your page title is funky, is not reliable, you might actually get the URL of the website you are on. Maybe that might help you. Sometimes you want to get a text. Maybe you push something and it displays a message saying something successful, and you're trying to grab the text of that message. There are different ways of verifying your test case. The navigational commands are used to go back and forth. So this is actually when you push forward. So I can show you on my browser right now. So this is my browser. If I was to push the forward, this is the back. See, if I push the back, that's how you do it. Navigate back. Forward is I don't think Firefox has forward, but a lot of browsers have a way to go forward. This is how you do it. If you're trying to navigate to a different website, let's say you are on Facebook and you want to go to Instagram to do some verification and come back, how do you do it? Get is a one-time thing, but if you want to go to a different place after get, then you say navigate to another website. If you want to refresh your page, maybe you run a test case and you have to refresh, this is the refresh button to see your change, then this is the command to do it. The other ones, the first one, frame, we don't normally use this anymore. It's also old technology. It was the old way of building websites where we had frames. And anyone old enough will remember in the early 2000s, websites used to have frames. Today, no one does that anymore. We just have different pages for different websites. So we have links, so you don't have to worry about the frame. Alert is very, very popular. Whenever you have a pop-up, please know that pop-ups, if you try to right-click on a pop-up, you can't get the XPath. I showed that to you in class, so we need a different command for that. And there are two of them. There's alert.dismiss and there's alert.confirm. So one of them is for OK, and the other one is for to dismiss it. So those are popular commands that a QA automation person will be using quite frequently on the job. And we did a few examples in class, and I've sent everybody all these codes. I hope you guys were able to run all the codes, and I hope you understand what each and every one of them does. And I believe that was the last class. We've just done a quick recap of the last class. So dismiss is if you have a cancel, and I think the other one is okay or something like that. But it's all there for you to look at with the alert. All right. Now, let's move on to the next topic today. So we're going to start automation framework today. But before we do that, I want to show you mouse action. When do we need a mouse action? Sometimes some websites, you can't interact with them with a keyboard. It's only a mouse that you can use to interact with those websites. And let me show you an example. Let's go on busyQA's website. If you're trying to automate something on busyQA's website, you might find it challenging because let's watch this now. On this website, if I move my mouse to services, then it shows me right away all the menus in services. We call this a mouse over. Say, for example, now they tell you, can you automate that training? You know, maybe you're trying to automate that training page as, I don't know, Agile SDLC. That's your test case. Can you verify that the training page has Agile SDLC? And you know that to get there, you have to move your mouse on services before you can see training. So how do you code this mouse over? The way to do that is to use your actions class. And that's what we call mouse action. So anytime you don't need a keyboard to do something, where is a mouse that does it, then right away you think about calling the actions class. So that's an example right there. And it has a few methods, but you can guess what you're trying to do. You know, if you clicked on if you clicked on the sub menu, then you need to call the click method. If you double clicked on it, then you're most likely going to call the double click method. But honestly, 90% of the time, most mouse overs, you click on it. You click on it to do something. And here is an example of the code. We set the property. We create a driver object. We go to the website. And once we get there, this is what I'm trying to click on. This is the menu that that opens up a mouse over. So what I do is I get the XPath, right? I'm using my link text. I got the XPath, driver find element, and I'm saving that XPath as a web element object. I call the mouse. You can call it whatever you want. I'm now passing that object. I'm passing that object into the actions class. So I do this first of all. The next thing I do is I create an object of the actions class, and I pass the driver, which is my Chrome. I pass that into the action class. Then the next thing I do is I take that object and I pass my mouse, which is my web element. I pass it into the actions object. And then once it knows, then I tell it what to do. Okay, click on it. And to be honest with you guys, you don't have to memorize this, but it's copying and pasting. So even we, the experts, I just copy and paste it. I know to do a mouse over, I need 4 lines of code. And every time, what changes is just this. That's what changes, right? Think about it. The GUI element is all that is changing. Everything else, you just copying and pasting from your previous script. So I gave you another example. Now I'm trying to click on a different menu called features. And if you compare it, I saved another mouse over because it's the same script. I didn't want to lose this guy here, but I can. If I want to forget about it, I can use mouse again, and I can, I can reuse it, or I can give it a different name. But this is how we do mouse overs. And that was the end of the last class. All right. So welcome to your week 12 class. One question. Yes, please.
Ty, could you just open the mouse slide, please? Yeah. So over here, if we have like, say 4 parts from which we are going to choose. So like we write it like mouse, mouse 2, mouse 3, mouse 4, like that we continue?
I mean, like, you don't have to. You don't have to, because what I'm doing here is I'm creating a mouse 2 in the memory. Because maybe I'm thinking I might need to reuse it somewhere down the line in the code.
Okay.
But if you think, it's only a one-time click that you don't have to save, use the same mouse.
Okay. And like if we open that and if we have further more options into it.
Yeah. So if you have, say, you want to click on 3 different menus, I can use one variable for all 3 menus. But if you know that you're going to reuse them later on in the same script, then yes, save it as a different name.
Okay.
So this is what I'm trying to say. Let me show you. If now I copy this, let's go to Notepad. So this is my first mouse over. Now this is flex. If I know I don't have to click on this flex again for my entire test case, I'll just reuse the same mouse again. I'll reuse the same mouse. I'll just change my XPath. That's all I have to change. So I'll come back here now and copy this XPath. You get it? And just paste it there. That's it. So
yeah, but my question is, say suppose if we go to about flex, okay, and then in that you have another 5 options, like say suppose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we again make a command for it to get into the other. Say suppose I have to get into one. After going into about flex, I want to get into the first option. So I have to again make a command for it.
Yeah, if it's also a mouse over. So let's.
Okay.
If it's not a mouse over, you don't have to worry about it. Okay. But if it's also a mouse over, maybe a menu, submenu, and they all mouse over.
Yeah, right, like that.
Yeah, you have to.
Okay, fine.
Yes, Ruby has a question regarding our session. Yes, go ahead.
So Ty, thank you. So if let's say you are on a page, like let's say you have to log in, and then let's say you choose a product and then you have to buy it and make a payment. So in that case, should we check individual landing page as well in assertion, or finally when we reach to the payment page, we check the assertion?
Very good question. It's entirely up to you. What I'll tell you is from doing manual testing, you probably know how stable the system is. If you think that, okay, the system is fairly stable, meaning, from the landing page, when I click on buy, it always takes me to the credit card page. And I know that always works 95% of time. Then maybe you can save doing a session here, maybe just do it here. But if it's an unstable website that sometimes you click on buy, it takes you to a different page, then yes, you want to do a session on each and every page you land on. Okay, good. And today as well, I'll show you guys an easier and a better way of doing a session. Well, it's not a better way, but there's another way of doing it. I'll show you that as well. Alrighty, so I sent you guys a class note for today's class, and we're going to start final topic today. which is Automation Framework. In my previous classes, this is my way of going back to review, what we've done in the last class. So we've done this again, implicit, and so I'll skip all this stuff. We've done all this, implicit, explicit. Mouse action, we've done this as well. So I'll skip this. And voila. So a lot of you by now, you have an automation project that looks like this. Everyone, I hope so, everybody has some kind of, let me find a good project. Good. Everybody has some kind of Java project that has two libraries. You have your Java library and you have your Selenium library, and you've been creating some automation script so far. Now, if I was to ask you guys, how do you run all this script? Most likely you will run it individually. You click on one, run it, go to the console, see whatever jargon, the console returns to you, and you have to be technical to read what that is. Then you go to the next one, you run it, you pray there's no red, you pray is all, pass, and you keep going. Now imagine if you have 500 scripts to run. How would you sit there and click on each one manually? That's not automation. That's still manual testing. So framework, so if you're taking notes, please start taking notes. Automation framework, they are used to do three things. The first thing it allows us to do is it allows us to create a test suite and test cases. And this allows us to run the test suite just once. So automation frameworks are used to organize your test scripts. And we organize it by creating test suites and test cases. From web service testing, everyone knows that test suite is a collection of test cases. And in SOAP UI, we did the same thing, right? Where we right-clicked on a request message and we said, convert this request message into a test case. Then while you're doing that, please also add everything into a test suite. It's the same idea we're trying to do here. So that's the first reason why we use automation framework.
Excuse me, sorry to interrupt. Can you please repeat once again so that I can take notes? Sorry.
Yeah. So automation framework, it allows us to organize our test script into test suite and test cases. So it allows us to organize your test script. This is a test script. This here is a test script. This is a test script. This is a test script. This is a test script. Now I have no framework. But once I have a framework, I can put all my test script into test cases and a test suite. And the idea behind that is I can just push play once and I go home and my entire 500 runs. Good. Then the next reason why we have a test automation framework is for reporting, test reports. A lot of times you need to present your test automation results to your QA lead, to your QA manager, even to the business unit, because they're paying a lot of money for you and they want to see the value you bring into the company. And a lot of times these guys, you can't really carry over your console or print your console and say, hey, yeah, this is my, look at it. There was no red. Like they will look at you and just laugh at you, right? So automation framework also creates beautiful test reports that non-IT people or even IT people can easily understand. The next reason why we use automation framework is what we call data-driven testing. You can actually control data-driven testing is where I control what my test script does by an external data source. So I'll write that down for you guys. So data-driven testing is how you control what your test script does by an external data source, e.g. an Excel spreadsheet, an XML file, right? It could be a connection to a database and connected to your table, and so on and so forth. The most common use of this is we use this to do cross-browser automation testing. That's the most common use for this. Let me explain what that means. A lot of you now, I have 15 test scripts in here. And if I was to open each one of them, you guys can see that I've specified manually the browser for these guys to run on. If my boss now tells me, Ty, good job, you've proven that 15 test cases work very correctly on Chrome. Okay, Ty, we also have customers using Firefox. We also have customers using IE. Can you please also run this entire 15 on a different browser? I know what most of you will do right now. Yes, boss, you just come back here quickly, comment this out, and you go paste the one from Firefox, right, into all your 15. That's easy because you have 15 scripts. What if you have 500? So there's a better and easier way to do it. And automation framework allows that to happen because we can actually use parameterization. So I can now, all I have to do is in my XML file, I can specify all these guys in my XML file. I will now pass a variable to say if the variable is Chrome, go into my XML file and run this code. That's it. If the variable is Firefox, go into my XML file and run this code. Else, if the variable is Safari, go into my XML file and run this system set property. So what you have is in your code, you will no longer have this thing in there anymore. All you have is just the name of the variable that you want to control. And even that as well, there are cleaner and easier way to do that. So that's why we use, automation framework while we're doing automation testing. Companies there are a lot of frameworks out there. So if you're taking notes, I'm going to show you one of the oldest ones today that is still very, very popular. It's called TestNG. There are other ones out there. We have what we call the hybrid framework. We have the keyword-driven framework. We have the data-driven framework. There's Cucumber framework. There are many. Typically in the tech world, we get about one new framework every year. That you can't keep up. But as a QA tester looking for a job, you need to know one framework really well so that anywhere you go in a company, you can get your job done because most of them do the same thing. They help you with your reports. They help you create your test suite. They allow you to be smart, where you can do data-driven testing. So as long as you know one, you're pretty much okay, to get by. So today I'm going to show you the TestNG Framework. And believe it or not, this framework was created for developers. The name came from test, new generation, a new way of testing. And developers, when they were doing unit testing, they started using TestNG to help them, do automation properly. Then as QAs became more technical, we just liked it and we started using it as well. And we combined it with Selenium. So you find most QAs, we tend to use TestNG with Selenium. Developers, they don't use it with Selenium because they have no business, with the browser. They mostly use it with their code. So they just use Java and TestNG. Whereas weak testers, you find us using Java, TestNG, and Selenium combination. Okay, so now let's install TestNG. So we'll take a break after we do this. So very quickly in your class notes, I've showed you guys how to install TestNG. Please follow the instructions very carefully. And we're going to come back. Let's give ourselves 15 minutes for everyone to fully install it. You might have to close your Eclipse once you're done installing and reopen it. But the instructions are very clear. So you launch Eclipse on the menu bar, click on Help. Now, because I've done it, so you click on Help, you go into the Marketplace, Eclipse Marketplace, and in the Find, you type in TestNG. So you type in TestNG, and you press Go, and it searches for TestNG in the Marketplace. If you've already installed it, you will see a message saying you've done that already. But for the first timers, you guys, this is it. So please make sure you install the one that says TestNG for Eclipse. So that's what we're looking for. All right. So it has a blue Eclipse sign. Now, because mine is already installed, it says installed. So please, I won't be there to help you guys, so you need to follow your instructions very carefully. It's all here. It's all been pasted to you. Just go through the slides, search for it, click on install. Right there, it's all there. Yeah, confirm, review your license. I accept the license, click finish. Once you're done finish, you wait for it to install. It's going to take at least maybe 2-3 minutes. It's a very powerful software. You might get a warning security message. Press OK on the warning message. And once you're done, it will ask you to restart your Eclipse. So say yes to restart your Eclipse. And once you restarted it, to know if you've done it properly, you have to click on Window. So you go into your window in Eclipse, right here. Then you go into your Preferences in your Eclipse. And if you have this TestNG right there, then you've done the right thing. But if TestNG doesn't appear, then you haven't installed it properly. So let's take some time. We're going to come back at 10:45. Ty, can you show again how to find TestNG if it's already installed? Yes. So if it's already installed, it's right here as well. It's step 7. In your class note, it's step 7. It's there in your class note. But I can show you again. You click on Window, and you go to Preferences. And if you have this TestNG showing up, then yes, you've done the right thing. So I have it in my Preferences. So that means Eclipse now has TestNG. Okay, got it. Good. So follow the instructions. There are 7 steps you need to follow. I'm not there to help you, so please, but it's all there. All the screenshot, everything you have to do is all there from step 1 to step 7. I'll come back at 10:45 and we'll kick off and we'll start creating TestNG tests. Okay? All righty. Thanks. Okay. All right, everybody. Welcome back. I hope you all had a good break. And how are we? Did everybody install TestNG easily? Yes. Okay, I got a big yes. All right, Sonia, that's a big yes. I assume everybody else did. Okay. All right, let's carry on. So now that we have the TestNG, good. The Versi as well, good, good, good. Awesome. So the next thing we're going to do, we're going to create a new Java project. Everyone should know how to do that. So if you don't, watch me, and you can do it afterwards. So create a new Java project. I'm going to call mine Saturday Online TestNG. Once I'm done, I'll finish. I'll create. So right now I have only a Java library inside of it. The next thing I'm going to do is I'll right click on this project and I would add my Selenium file. But before we do that, let me show you how to bring in your TestNG library. So it's very similar, but slightly different. So you right click on your project name and you go click on Properties. Now in Properties, click on Java Build Path, just like Selenium. But in Selenium is an external jar. And the reason why it's an external jar is because the library exists in your laptop, in your C drive. So you have to go bring it in. But with TestNG, we got it from the marketplace. So we don't have to go bring it in from anywhere. So you just simply click on Add Library. And in your Add Library, you will now select TestNG and you press Next and press Finish. And you should now see 2 folders in your libraries. So one is your Java, one is your TestNG. Once you've done this, now everyone knows how to bring in the Selenium. So let's do the same thing for your Selenium. Add external jars, bring all your Selenium in. And I'll go grab the other 2 as well outside of it. Okay. So you should also have something that looks like this, where you have all your Selenium Java files, you have your TestNG library, and by default, you should have your Java library. Once you're done this, your project is now ready. You can press Apply and Close, and before you had 2 folders, now you should have 3 folders. So you should have something that looks like this: your Java, your TestNG, and your reference library. In my TestNG, you should have 4 jar files in there. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. If you've done that, you're ready to create a TestNG class. So let me know when I can move forward. So you have all the steps as well in your class notes. So step 1, step 2, step 3, I've done all this. Step 5, I've done all this, I've done all this. So we're right here in your class notes. Okay, so if I can move on. Now I'm going to show you how to create a TestNG class. So if you notice in my in my project, I have a package called SRC. It's a default package that was created by Java. What I can do is I'll right click on this package and I'll create a new package in there. So I'm going to go right click new, and but now don't click on package. I will click on other. So right click on your SRC and you say new other. In your other, you'll now see something called the TestNG class. So you click on that TestNG class and you press next, and it's now going to ask you 3 questions. The first one is asking you is to select your project name with the source folder. And this is your project name with the source folder, basically where you're coming from. So you find it. So you click on Browse, and my project name is Saturday Online TestNG. So it's this guy here, Saturday Online TestNG, and my source folder, which is this guy, SRC, is SRC. Press OK, and it's asking you to give it a name. So what do you want to call your project name? You can call it my first TestNG package. It doesn't matter. And it's asking you for a class name. By default, they'll call it new test. You can call it whatever you want to call it. Maybe you call it first TestNG class. Once you're done this, I'll explain this very shortly to you guys. You press finish. And you'll now notice that you have your first TestNG class created. And the package name is the package name you gave it. The class name is the class name you gave it. Because you've already imported those Java files, Java is very smart, or Eclipse is imported all the TestNG libraries for you. And if you now go into your SRC, you can see in there your package, and you can now see your class. So once you're here, give me the go-ahead to move forward, and I'll explain a few things.
Sorry, Chai, to interrupt. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Chai, when we are creating the class, do we need to select any annotations there as well?
No.
So just the 3 questions and we finish it, right?
And you finish it, yes.
Okay, done. Thank you.
All right. Anybody else have any questions so far? Can everybody create a TestNG class?
Excuse me, Ty.
Yep.
Could you please repeat? It was too fast for me, actually.
Okay, sure. So I'll create
It's okay with you, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll create a new...
Thank you so much.
No worries. By the way, what I'm doing is right here as well in your class note. So if it's too fast, just follow step 1, step 2. This is everything I've done. I've done step 1, step 2, step 3.
Oh, all right then. It's okay. Thanks. I can follow it.
Okay. But for good measures, let's create it quickly. So I clicked on SRC, which is my default package. I right-clicked on my default package, and I said new. And I said, before we always said new class, because that's a Java class. But now we're trying to create a TestNG class. So I said new other. In my other, because I now have TestNG installed, find my TestNG and I'll say TestNG class. I'll press next, and it's going to ask me for 3 questions. The first one is, what's the project name? The second one is give it a package. and the third one is the class name. So for my project name, I will click on Browse. I will go to the project, which is this guy, Saturday Online TestNG. These are all my classes in my workspace. So Saturday, where is it? Right there, Saturday Online TestNG. So you have to click on the SRC. So don't click on the project name, click on the SRC itself. Press OK, and you should have that /Saturday blah 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 /SRC. I already have a package called My First TestNG, but if I didn't have a package, or if I want to create a new package, then I can create a new package name. If I can call this my second package, and by default it calls it new test. I can leave this new test. I can call it new test 1. It doesn't matter. The annotations, I'll explain shortly what this means, so you can leave this alone for now, and you press finish. So now I have 2 packages and I have 2 TestNG classes. Alrighty, so if we've done this, we're now ready to get a little bit more technical with TestNG. Now, if you guys notice, your class has, can someone tell me, does this class has a main method or not? You can just put a comment very quickly. I'm sure everyone knows there's no main method. So yes, TestNG, we're breaking a Java rule that says, you know, in your package, there has to be a class with a main method. But that's not true any longer if you have, or if you're using an automation framework. So TestNGs, they don't have main methods. So that's the first rule. No main method. Well, the first rule is you really need to import the library before you can use it. We've done that already. The second rule is it has no main method. So don't get nervous when you're not seeing that public static void main. No, TestNG don't have main method. But what they do have is what we call annotations. And annotations are a set of commands that allows Java to know where to start from and where to stop. I'll repeat that. So TestNG doesn't have a main method. Now we know that a main method tells Java where to start from and where to finish. That's the whole point of the main method. It controls Java. But the way around it in TestNG is they have created what we call annotations. And the annotations is a way to guide Java, to tell Java, start from here, end here, do this, do that. So with annotations, I don't really need a main method. In interviews, they may ask you to tell me a few TestNG annotations that you've used. So now we're going to learn 4 or 5 of them. So annotations is a way to control Java, you know, to tell it where to start from and where to end your test. Another rule that you need to follow in TestNG, you don't have to follow this, but it will make your life really, really easy. And that's why I was telling you guys in Java that please create different classes. You know, start getting used to that. And that's because of TestNG. TestNG expects every test case you write to be a class. So if you have an Excel spreadsheet that has 10 test cases, and you have test case ID TC001, till TC010. In TestNG, you're going to have 10 classes. So that means I'm going to do this like 10 times. So it'll be test case 1, test case 2, this will be 10 of them because that's how TestNG likes you to do it. So that's why I've been trying to get you guys to get used to that please don't combine more than 2 classes in one class, in one Java file. It will work, but it's a bad habit. And this is why I was saying that. TestNG prefers you to have each test case should be a class. Now, the one that might throw you guys off, but you see why very shortly, is every expected result in TestNG should be a method. Let me explain this. Let me repeat it first. Every expected result in TestNG should be a method. Let me explain that. Let's say you have test case 001, and this is a manual test case that says verify that a user can log in to a website, right? That's your test case. In your expected results column, right, you saying pass this test case if 3 things happen. User, maybe you said user page title is welcome. Maybe that's something you're looking for. Maybe no error message is displayed, right? Maybe it says welcome Thai, right? Now let's say a welcome message. Yeah, a welcome message is displayed saying welcome Thai. When you see this welcome message, you know that Thai logged in to the website. If there's no error message, yeah, you know that Thai logged in and there was no problem. And maybe the page title, right? Maybe you're saying verify page title says welcome. We've done this in week 4, right? How to write manual test cases. Everyone knows what your expected result is. Some of you call it acceptance criteria, right? And we always name it. I have that style where I say AC01, AC02. We've been here, we've done this. Let me see if I can find any test case on my laptop to show you guys. I think everyone, yeah, see, acceptance, very good. Acceptance criteria. We're creating a policy, right? See, automation test case. So this is one of the automation test cases, a manual tester gave us, and we had to automate. Perfect. This is a perfect example. We have 26 test cases manually, and we expect to have 26 TestNG classes. Now watch each test case. This one is checking for 3 things. For this test case to be successful, these 3 things need to happen. What TestNG is telling you is you need to have 1 class and 3 methods within that class. Let's check this out here. This test case, how many things am I checking? Just 1 thing. So I'll have 1 class and 1 method within that class. So that's another rule that TestNG always enforces. You don't have to obey these rules, but this is the standard in the industry, and you see why we advise you to obey the rules. It makes your reporting, your test reports, it makes it make sense, where anybody can really understand what exactly is going on. So those are the rules. I can close this now. That's week 4. Those are the rules that TestNG always wants you to obey, right? So I'll quickly go over it again. Let's remove all this so we don't get confused. The first one is you have to import the library before TestNG understands what you're talking about. The second one is there's no main method. And the reason for that is TestNG has annotations. And those annotations allow TestNG to know where to start from and where to end. The next rule is saying each test case should really be a class. Please make it a class. One class per test case. And the last rule is saying within a class or within a test case, there are a couple of things you're expecting. There are expected results. Make each expected result, make it a method within that class. All right, so now that we know the rules, let's go look at
Excuse me, Chai. Sorry for interrupting. Devish Desai. Hello.
Yep.
I just have one question here on the third point that each test case should be a different class. If we are doing suppose a cross-browser testing, so for every different browser also we need to make a different class, or we'll control it by the way you said that externally.
Exactly. So for me, I mean, if I have a test case that is the same thing as checking, there's no difference between test case 1 and 2. If it's only a browser difference, then I don't need to make it separate.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I won't
So
do
as
that.
long as if, okay. Okay. Thank you.
Very good question. All right, so now that we know the rules, let's go into the annotations. What are this? What does this mean? What are we talking about when we say TestNG annotations? Annotations are the gray thing you see in your code. And it typically starts off with an @ symbol. So you can see here by default, there's always one annotation given to you, and it's always @test. @test is TestNG's assumption that, okay, this is the first thing you want to check. This is your first expected result. If I have another method, maybe called public void, maybe verify page title. And I put @test here as well. Then TestNG knows, okay, this is what Ty is trying to test two things. This test case, new test 1, Ty is really trying to verify two things. It has two acceptance criteria. So by default, you notice you always have this @test symbol given to you. But we have way more other annotations that we're going to jump into right away. Okay. So I think I have it alrighty. So please, if you're taking notes, I'll send you guys this copy as well. But let me just quickly list it out. Okay, the first annotation is what we call before test. The next annotation is before method. The next one is you have your test. Then you have your after method. And you have your after test. Before test, it's what you want Java to run at the beginning of your test case. And the name before test is basically saying, do this thing, Java, please, before you start running my test case. Because Java assumes that, what you're trying to verify will live here. That's your test. That's what you're doing. But before you even start doing any of that, please always execute everything in my before test. And typically, what that stores is that's where you launch the browser. You know, before you even start running test case 1 or 2, in your before test, if you see the example in your class notes, in your before test, I'm kind of launching the browser. And I'm saying, okay, go to this website, right? So you have your Java get base URL. That's in my before test. Now, before method is saying, this method, I want you to always run this method before you run any test. If I have 2 tests, what would happen is, by the time it's done running the first one, before it runs the second one, it's going to come here and run this guy again before it runs your next test. So use this very carefully. Before method. So before test is saying we use this to tell TestNG or Java, use to run at the beginning of every, right? Beginning of every class. You can say class, test case, it doesn't matter. And before method, this would always run, use to run at the beginning of every test. That's the difference. This is at the beginning of every class. So this will run once, essentially, if you have, you know, in one class. But if you have a lot of tests inside a class, then your before method will run before each test runs. And your test, you know, this is your bread and butter. This is used to run your expected results, right? This is what you're checking for, your acceptance criteria. So that's your test. Verify this, verify that. So you put that in here. After method is the opposite of before method. So this is used to run at the end of every test. So let's break it down. I have 2 tests, right? 2 tests. I have 1 before test. I have 1 before method. I have 1 after method, and I have 2 tests. What will happen is before test will run because that's the first one that goes. Then before method will go. Then the first test will go. Then after method will go. Then for the next test, before method will go again. The test will go again, and the after method goes the second time. And lastly, this is the opposite of this one. So this is used to run at the end of every class. This here, my friends, is a very powerful tool that allows you to organize your work and makes your automation really smart. I'll send these notes to you. Used to run at the end of every class. Let me give you an example to make it really easy for you guys to see what we use these annotations for. I'll send this to you as well. By now, I expect everyone to know how to read code. You know, we've moved past that Java level. Everyone should be somewhat advanced. So let's study this for a little while. Maybe I should make it smaller, the font, so you guys can see what I'm trying to do. So forget all the imports. Java does, Eclipse does that for you. But I have here a TestNG class. I called it first TestNG file. And I'm declaring some global variable because I have methods and I want each method to see these variables. So I'm making it public. The first one is my base URL. which is the website I'm trying to test. And the second one is my Firefox driver that I want to use, because I'll be using driver everywhere. So I declare this as a global variable. You don't have to call it driver3. You can call it whatever you want. Now look at this in my before test. In before test, I'm saying launch. I have a method. I called it launch website. And this is where I'm setting the system property to say go into my C drive, blah, 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 blah. And once you get there, create a new Firefox driver and go open up the browser. And this would happen only once while this test case is running. Now look at my before method. My before method is now saying what? Verify the home page title. Because I know that this is going to run next. Once before test runs, once it's done running, the next one that will run is before method. And what I'm saying is, okay, just to make sure that this guy sent me to the right place, please always check for the home page title, or check for the page title. So what I've done is I went to the website and I got the page title. Everyone knows how to do that now. So this is my expected. And I'm getting the actual, right, .get title. Everyone knows that. Now this is now another way of doing assert. So if you don't want to use your string.equals, this is the Selenium way of doing it. So Selenium has a class that is called assert. And once you press that class, you don't have to create an object of it because it's a static class, right? So everyone knows now static. Because it's static, I can use it right away. So assert dot, these are all the methods assert as, see? Equals, not null, right? Not the same. They are very similar. Is it true? You know, fail. But most of the time, QAs always use equals because we're trying to compare something. But the downside of this is it doesn't have contains. And that's why I taught you the other one first. This will compare apple for apple. If one word is missing, this guy will fail it because E is not there. So that's why I taught you the string class, because that gives you more flexibility to bend, you know, whatever situation you're in. You can always write the perfect code. But if you're looking for apple, then maybe this is easy. You don't need your if and else. Because if this guy fails, it will throw an exception. So you don't have to write if this is blah, 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 test case passed. Else, no. If this guy fails, your script stops and your class stops. That's it. So this is another way. Some call it the better way because there's only one line instead of the 4 lines of if and else. You know, I'll let you decide. And you can put this code in there. And it's actually so good because it's expecting two things from you. It's expecting actual and it's expecting expected. And if you have named your variables that same name, you don't have to change this code. Like watch, if I'm typing assert dot equals, watch what will happen. See? By default, it just gives me actual, expected. So we get lazy as QAs. We don't want to, so we just name our variable as well, the same thing, so that we don't have to change the code. But obviously, if you call this ESP, right? If you call the ESP, then you have to come in here and change it to EXP, right? So that's another way of doing assertion. They might ask you in an interview, you know, what's the difference between this and the other way I taught you. Now, there's another way of doing assertion. If you don't want this to fail, I'll show you very shortly, because I told you guys this here, if it fails, is going to stop my script. It's just going to stop that class and then to move on to another class. That's the power of assert. But what if you don't really want it to stop? Okay, the page title is not the same anyway, still carry on. I don't trust this website. Run all my methods. Then we use what we call verify. So verify, if you're taking notes, is a soft assertion. It doesn't fail. It fails, it lets you know that your assertion was not there, but it doesn't actually stop. It doesn't stop your class or your script from not running. So a very popular interview question is, what's the difference between assertion or assert and verify? They might ask you that in an interview. Assert is a hard check. Stop and fail the class or script if check fails. Verify is a soft check. Fail and carry on if check fails. Okay, I'll be sending this to you guys. So that's the difference between assert and verify. But let's get back to annotations that we were talking about before method. So this method would run right after the website is open. Now, once before is done, the next thing that will happen is now your test. So it's going to go find your test because this is after method. This is after test. It says, oh, this is the first test. Okay, so now that it's on the website, you have this test. I'm going to explain priority very shortly, but that's where it's going to start from. Then you called it login. That's the name of the method. Then everyone knows this already. Driver define the element. And say once you get there, put in tutorial as a username, put in tutorial as a password, and click on the login button. And that's my login method. The next thing it's going to do is now going to go find the after method. If you have it, after method. Oh, after method, what's this guy saying? Public void, go back home. Okay, so what's this to go back home? Driver find element XPath, click on something. That's a link to take you back home. So he does that and he goes back home. Then once he's done that, he goes, okay, I'm ready for the next test. Where's the next test? Oh, this is the next test. Book your ticket. Okay, and it comes in here and it prints out something and booking a ticket. Then once it's done this, it goes back to your after test, after method, which is go back home. Then it goes back home again. Then once it sees there's no more test, it now does your after test. And you can see in there now my after test, that's where I have my driver.quit. And guys, this is how we do automation. This is the real deal. This is how everybody automates in the industry. It might not be very clear to you what I've just done right now, but I've named every method in a common sense way that is so user-friendly. All my methods are very user-friendly. I can tell what's going on from the name of the method. That guy is saying log in. I know I'm trying to log in. This guy is saying close website. I know I'm trying to close the website. This guy is saying book a ticket. I know I'm trying to book a ticket. This guy is saying go back home. I know I'm trying to go back to the home page. This guy is saying verify the home title. I know I'm trying to verify the home title. This guy is saying launch website. I know I'm trying to launch a website. So going forward, you guys need to start naming all your methods exactly what you're trying to do. What's that method trying to do? And the reason for this is once we run this now and you get a beautiful report, a non-IT person can see what method passed, and everyone understands where the problem is without looking at your console. So let's quickly copy this code. I'm going to send you guys this code now. I want everyone to copy this code. Create your class and paste this code into your TestNG. Okay, so I want us to try it together. And let's quickly see, before I run this, so everyone please quickly create your class, TestNG class, and I want you to copy that code. Please don't forget to change your property, so your C drive, blah, blah, blah. If Chrome works for you, use Chrome. I'm using Firefox here. Use whatever works for you, but leave the name as launch website. We're using this new Tor's website. You can change your driver name if you want, but let's quickly have this code copied onto your Eclipse. So let me know if you've copied the code. So don't forget to change your class name. If your class name is not first TestNG file, Java would not like it. So name the class, whatever.
Sorry, please, I wrote a message asking where to copy the code from.
Oh, check your email. I sent everybody an email. Sorry, where to copy the code from? Yes, Louis. Ty, could you please repeat this? I think I've done that. Oh, kindly clarify why we're using string with uppercase S. Is it like separate class than using string lowercase? So I believe string has always been uppercase for my Java class, if I'm correct. So string has always been like this. It's lowercase string. I don't think Java recognizes that, but you can try it. Let me see. That would work. Yeah, so string has always been uppercase. It has to be changed to string. Yeah, so I hope I answered that question. String is always uppercase. The next question was, Ty, could you repeat this, please? Okay, I'm not sure where exactly, but I'll repeat. Let's have the code ready, and we're going to run it. Then I'll explain the code again. And Louis, I hope you got the email. Let me just check to make sure that everybody got it. Yep, I sent it out about 3 minutes ago. Ty, I copied the code and using Chrome instead of Firefox. Good. Okay, very good. So everyone should know how to change, by now you should be able to change your browser, change your class name. That's why we spent 3 weeks on Java, because once you know your Java really well, Selenium, TestNG, it's easy. And this class is also recorded, so I think that's one of the benefits of online. You guys can record my entire class. It's easier to record. So you guys will have 2 videos to watch, and the entire class itself, and a TestNG video that will explain TestNG in detail. Okay, are we good? Can I carry on? So I got a question asking me to repeat the annotations. So I'm going to repeat this again. All done. Okay. Let me repeat the annotations. Done. Oh, good. Well done, guys. Okay. So don't run it yet. I'll show you how to run it, but you can as well if you want to go for it. So for we testers, I told you guys there's no main method in a TestNG class. All done. Good. Thanks, guys. So how do we control Java, or how do we tell Java where to start from and where to finish? We use what we call annotations in TestNG to control Java. And whenever you see the @ symbol, you can tell right away that that's a control point. That's an annotation in TestNG. There are more annotations, but the ones we mostly use most of the time are 5 annotations. Before test, before method, your actual test that you're running, after method, and your after test. Before test is you're trying to tell Java, hey, run this, at the beginning of my class. And that typically always runs just once, right? At the beginning of your class, run it once. And for most QAs, that's where we launch the browser. Because, hey, I only want one browser launch. I don't want many browsers launch. If I'm checking 3 things, I just want one browser. So that's why here, in my before test, you can see I'm launching my browser. Now, let's go to the opposite of before test, which is after test. This is where we close the browser because we only want to close it once. So if you look at my after test, if you scroll down, you have the code right now. After test, you can see here that I'm just closing my browser. I could have used close, but I'm just playing it safe to say if there are more than one open, close everything. So I'm using quit, driver.quit. It's showing errors, okay? We can share your screen maybe later on to see why you're getting errors. So, we can close it. That's how we close the browser. Now, these ones here, they are really important, and you should use it very smartly. And the idea behind these guys is they code. They save you from repeating yourself over and over again. And what I've done is this. I have a manual test case that says, go to this website, new tours. Once you get there, put login. Now, manually, I know I'm in the right place because I can see the website. It looks normal. It has today's date. It has a logo. I can see. I know I'm there. But automation cannot see. It doesn't have any eyes. So automation, I'm saying, even when you get there, please verify the page title first to make sure you're in the right place. If you're in the right place, then log in. So I log in. Once I'm logged in, I don't think I put the right password in. Tutorial. Okay, once I'm there, I'm saying once you get here, print something. I can also choose to check the page title here just to make sure I'm here as well. It's entirely up to you. But I'm saying print something, and once you're done printing that thing, go back to the home page. Once you get back to the home page, please, just to make sure you're back in the home page, please verify again. That constant verify home page title, if you're not using a framework, you're going to be repeating that code several times in your script. But with a framework, you don't have to repeat it. You just write it once and you make it a before method. So that means every time we run a test, before we run a new test, we're going to come back here and do something every time. So my before method is so powerful because it saves me from writing, I don't know, some page verification test over and over again. My after method is also very powerful because I want to always reset back to the home page after I'm done each method. Maybe it's my test case. Every time I'm done, always go back to the home page and start again. So instead of repeating that, go back home in every line, no. Just put it in after method. And my test is what I'm testing. So that's what these annotations do.
Excuse me, Ty. One question here. Hello?
Yep.
Yeah, say if we are having a test case where we are moving from one page to third page and we are navigating through 3 pages in a process, right? For example, buying something and moving towards payment and then confirming the purchase, right? So in that case, we need to see that we are going through a right direction. Then in that case, how we can put that? Then in that case, we have to write the assertion every time because the page title will change and the page will change every time. It's not the
Exactly. Yes. So if you have a test case where the page title is changing all the time, I'll put it this way: whenever you go through your script and you're repeating the same line of code, exact word for word, same time over and over again, you're not using your annotations very well. But you're right. If you are, maybe for example, you're buying something and you're moving from page 1 to page 2 to page 3, and you're not coming back to page 1, you never come back to page 2, you're going from page 3 to page 4, then yes, you need to put everything in the test, right? And you need to do your verify inside of that test. But what these guys are using...
that should... Okay.
What these guys for is if you're going simply from page 2 back to page 1, right? Then you go to page 3, then maybe back to page 2, then you go to page 4, then maybe back to page 1. Then you can save all the, all this repetition code here by just putting it in the before method or after method.
So, like you just said in this particular example, page 3 to page 2 to page 4, and then page 1. So, you mean like we can have a nested kind of a testing loop in a way that for page 3 to 2 to 4, there will be a different page title. So, that will be a part of the main test body that is at test. and then I can add another annotation to go back to page 1 if I want to. So it becomes a nested kind of stuff, right?
Exactly.
If I'm understanding it right?
Exactly. So in this example here, from page 1, I went to page 2, and something happened. I came back again to page 1. Then I went to page 3. Then from page 3, I went to page 2, and I went to page 4, and I came back again to page 1. So I see a trend happening. So what I can do is, you're right, I can make this a test, right? I can put all this in a test as well. And I can put page 1 as my before method.
I can also see, like in this example only, the page 2 is also getting repeated. So is there like we can also put page 2 in a separate before method, like before method 1 or something of that sort, so that we just have to write page 2 or
Absolutely.
is it possible to do that?
Yes. You can design this whichever way you want to, whichever way you think is smart for you. But I'll tell for the new people, the batches got it. But for the new people, don't get too nervous, like, oh, how do I use it properly or not? Most laptops today, they have good memories. It won't make your code fail. But, the more senior you get, one day you start looking at your code going, why am I repeating this line? I keep doing this a lot. I keep having this line everywhere in my code. If you see that trend, then that's a wake-up call for you that you can use these annotations to help you save time and code.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. So now let me run this code. Let's see what we're trying to do. Well, before I do that, there's something called priority in my test. And what is priority? Priority tells Selenium or TestNG or Java which of your tests to run first. Because I have now test, I have test. So it says, which one should I run first? Please note that in TestNG, it doesn't mean that because this code is up here, that this code will run first before this one. No. It's annotations that control what runs next and what runs first. Same idea here as well. Even if I move this line, and I move this line, if I move this line to the bottom, this line will still run before this guy because the priority is 0. The priority is not 1. So in your class note, I'm going to put in there the last annotation I want to tell you about is your test at test priority. And this is when we have more than, we use this, it could be 0, 1, 2, whatever, is when is used to, and we have, is used to control which at test runs first. Okay? So in this example here, you can see now that even though this guy is on top, this guy will still run first. All right, so now enough talking. Let's run this code. Let me just save my changes. The way you run it as well is slightly different because it's not a Java class. It's a TestNG class. So how do we run it? You right-click on the file.testng and you say run as a TestNG test. And what's the beauty of this now? We're going to get a beautiful report that will explain everything we've done. So let me close my Firefox browser so you guys can actually believe that it ran nicely. All right. So it's going to open up my browser, opens up. It's going to go to new Taurus demo. It's going to try and log in. It's verify the page title. Once it's logged in, it's going to go back to home page and blah, blah, blah. All done. The test is ran. Now, let me show you the beauty of having a automation framework. Number one, can you see that we have a separate tab for TestNG? So no more console, no more looking at the console, trying to figure out all this annoying stuff because no one cares. But now you have a very beautiful TestNG that is created for you. Green means everything passed. Report is very beautiful. Good, good. Ruby has done it. Yes, report is very. Now you can actually print this report and give it to anybody in your office, and they understand it. All done. Oh, you guys are pretty quick. All right, for the guys still following me, let me show you how to get your report. So what you have to do is, all done. Okay. Thanks, guys. Let me still carry on. To now get your report, all you have to do is right-click on your project name, and you refresh it. So I'll right-click on Summer 2018, click on Refresh, and in this test, you now see this for the first time. You see this test output folder. Open that up, and there will be an index.html, and that's your report. Double-click on it, and you have this beautiful report that you can print out. This report does a lot of things. Number one, it shows you where the test is running from. But number two, it shows you the chronological order at which your test ran. Let's click on it. And you can see now this is where my annotations matter. It said, I started off with your launch website method. And this is where you need to give your methods names that everybody can know what it's trying to do. So just don't call your method ABC. Or give it names that make sense. You can see here, we launched the website. Then what did you do right away? You verified the homepage title. Then after that, it ran a test called login. Then my after method, go back home. It went back home. Once it's back home, it verified the homepage title again. Then it ran another test called book ticket. And it went back home again. Once it was done, then it closed the website. If a new QA joins my company tomorrow, and I say, hey, this is my automation script, and this is what it does, the person can easily, within 10 minutes, understand my script without reading the entire code, because I have an automation framework that shows the order of what's going on, and the person can just get what's going on. Even you yourself, you come back next year, you can see exactly what you're trying to do. Secondly, time. Look at this. For the first time now, you're seeing how long your test case is taking to run. Why do you need this? To plan your life, to plan your time. Remember, 1,000 milliseconds is 1 second. So I can see that my entire test case took 14 seconds to run. So if I know that I have 500 test cases and each one is taking an average of 14 seconds to run, I know the entire time is going to take to test, to run my entire test case. So if my boss says, Ty, we only have 1 hour to push this product out, if I know my entire test suite takes only 30 minutes, I tell my boss, don't worry, we got the time. These are things you could not get before with just Java. Yes, Ruby. I'll answer your question. The next thing you see in this test report is it shows you the passes and the fail. So now we have 2 methods. 2 methods are because we had 2 tests. Because that's where, that's the bulk, right? That's what you're checking for. That's your test. So those 2 methods, because they all passed, it's saying they all passed. And I can say, show me the passed. And you see, there's a green there. Book ticket, passed. Login, passed. And this is how you prove to your boss or your company that automation was working successfully. Yes, boss, look at it. On this day and time, we ran this test, and I was able to book a ticket. It passed. This is a report. Login passed. This is the report. And you can print this out. You can actually open this on a browser. So you can copy this URL, go into your browser, and voila. And now you can print whatever you want. You can print this view. You can print this view. and you can just submit your work and say file print, and you can just hand this over to whoever you want and say, I'm done. So imagine when there are 500 of them, everyone can now easily believe you that, okay, not only do we know how long it takes, but we actually see the names of the methods and we see that they are passing. Welcome to automation industry standard. Yes, Ruby.
So thank you, Ty. So the one which you gave the example where you have 15 test cases. So in that case, how do we do more than one test cases in this test suite?
Very good. So that's where I'm going to finish up today. I'm going to show you the test suite, and I'll show you how to run everything just once.
So ideally, like when, let's say if we relate it to the previous class where we wrote 4 classes for 4 test case with main method. So do we create that and then we come here in TestNG and copy the code, or we start in here only?
You start in here.
Okay. Okay.
You start in here. Yeah. So like no more, going forward in your exams, you guys will give you an automation test case and will ask you to do it the old way. But if you use TestNG, you will get full marks for it. And we'll now ask you to submit. So Adib will be looking for this. This is what will prove to Adib that you fully automated the test case, because he wants to see a report like this. Nobody wants to read code anymore. I don't want to see this. No, why? I just want to see a nice report that shows me everything is passing. So going forward, you guys should all start using your TestNG framework. So that's the beauty, guys, of framework. And that's why everybody in the industry will do it this way. It's just better. It saves, a lot of time. Thanks. This needs a lot of practice. Yes, I know. I'm making it sound easy. But yes, you need to play with it. You need to watch the videos. There are a lot of videos this week for you guys to watch. And you need to really understand the annotations. And make sure you can generate your reports. And by now, everyone should know how to find the element that was last week. Everyone should know that. Everyone should know how to quit. But all you're learning today is how to now move from a regular Selenium class with a main method to a TestNG class without a main method. Sapna, you said you had some errors. Do you want to quickly share your screen so we can see what you're doing? I'll give you control. Yeah, okay, good. Maybe everyone can learn from what you're trying to do. So we can see your screen. Yep. So the first line, you said public Chrome driver 3. Okay. What's the problem?
The bracket is not closing.
Yes, Sapna, I can tell right away from looking at your project, you don't have Selenium in there. You have JRE, you have TestNG, but you don't have Selenium. Guys, we should have everyone, right? Remember I said there are 3 folders you need? So Java doesn't understand Chrome driver, it doesn't understand Selenium because you haven't imported it. Do you understand? You have to, yes, Ruby's telling you have to add the reference library. So you have TestNG, good. You have Java. You can go on mute. You can go on mute, Sapna. Good. You're missing Selenium. You're missing your Selenium. Let me take control. Okay, so Sapna, you can go on mute again. Thank you. I'll show you what you're missing. Please, everybody, go on mute again. Getting some background noises. Now, I was looking at your project. Ty, you have to, okay, I have to unmute you. Sorry, okay, so you can talk. I have to unmute you. Oh, you're, okay, let me mute you. Okay, now you're muted. So, Safna, looking at your project, I could tell you what the problem was off the bat. Remember I told you you need 3 libraries. One is Java, one is TestNG. What about your Selenium? What about your original Java files? You don't have this. So that's why it doesn't understand Chrome driver. It doesn't understand Firefox driver. Yes. So that's your problem. Anybody else has any issues they would like to share with us? I have an error. Pranita, okay, you want to share your screen? You can take control. I have failure. Okay. All right. Pranita, what's you?
Hello?
Yep, we can see.
Yeah, can you see my screen?
Yep.
Yeah, this is what it is. I have all the libraries installed. This, and this. I have all 3.
All right.
And it's giving me this error.
Can you read the error message? It's telling you the path.
It's showing me 0 pass, 1 failed, and skipped 7.
No.
And it's not showing me any error in the code. It's just that this time unit. It's just this thing.
No, that's a warning. So
Yeah.
Can you look on the bottom? Go to the bottom of the screen where the error message is. Good. The first line,
yeah.
Ruby's actually figured it out. Your driver path. Go up. Yeah.
Yeah, I did change the driver path also.
So that's the problem. Because if you move your mouse up, let me see if I can share, take over of your mouse. Let me see if I can take control of your mouse. Request mouse control.
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
allowing you. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. Now watch. If I move this up, everybody please watch. It's telling you, see the path right here. This line here is telling you the path to the driver must be set by the web driver Gecko. So you have a problem with your path. Why are you trying to run Gecko driver? She's using Chrome driver and driver 3. Ruby is good at this stuff. She's found your problem right off the bat. Yeah, come on. You're using Firefox driver, but you're running Chrome driver.
Okay, but then why didn't it give me an error over here?
Because it's not that smart. It's only computer. Like you have to.
All right.
So you need Chrome driver, not Firefox driver.
Okay.
Okay, that was easy. Next person.
So can I get back my screen?
Yes, you can take control.
Thank you so much.
All right. So change that to Chrome driver, and you should be okay. Who also wants to share? Anybody else wants to take control? Okay, Jaspreet. All right, let's see what Jaspreet is doing. Okay, so Jaspreet, you had 2. Oh, you had 1 failure. Okay. So what's the problem? Can you click on the results of running? The 4th column. Let's see what the error message is. You have a Java null pointer exception. So none of it ran because they're all 0, 0, 0, 0 seconds. Same error. You have a null pointer exception. How many libraries do you have? You have your JRE, okay. You have your reference, good. Do you have your TestNG? You must do, I think. Can you scroll down? Let me see your TestNG library. On the left-hand side, yeah? Okay, you have it. So what's the problem? Java null pointer. Okay, let's see your code. Let's.
I have to add that time unit at the top.
System set. Okay, can you let's go to your code. So system set property. So you are using a Chrome driver, good. Same problem. You're using a public Chrome driver. Now you have driver 3, and you're saying driver 3 is a Chrome driver. Okay. You don't need to declare it again as a Chrome driver. You've done that at the top. So you can remove that Chrome driver. Just say driver 3. Do you get it? That's the problem.
Hello, Ty.
Yeah.
Even this set property has to be first and then driver 3 equal to new driver.
Yep, that's right. You change my code.
And what about this one, driver 3, you said, Ty?
Remove the Chrome driver because that's an overkill. That's why it's not blue. Java is like, now it's blue. See? Now Java knows, oh, that's your global variable. Did you get it?
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
It was like you created a new variable. So Java is confused that, oh, what's going on here? Is this a new variable? Now save your work and run it. Anybody else that has a null pointer, that's what you've done. Well, that's what you've done wrong. Mine is not giving results. Okay, let me see your results now.
Still one failure.
And also the direction of your arrows. Is that the right direction of your arrows?
No.
Yeah, you need to. I gave you a code, right? Like, guys, you need to like pay attention to the direction of your arrows. You are now a techie person. I told you, right? Your arrows should not be facing that direction.
No, the second, there are 2 system properties, right? I used over here. So I changed the direction in here. This one, right?
No.
Your direction should be, okay, that looks fine. Looks fine. It should be forward facing. Good.
The first one is commented out. You can easily remove that. It might be conflicting, I don't know.
Okay, can you scroll? Scroll to the right. Let me see what your slash. That looks okay. It looks good. Eclipse /exe. Yeah, it looks good. What's the error message now? Let's see what the error message is saying. So you click on your results from TestNG. Oh, it's the path.
Sorry.
The path to the driver must be set. Yeah, there's something wrong with your path.
Ty, the problem is with the driver. We are addressing the Chrome driver and we are referring to the Gecko driver.
Ah, very good, very good. Thank you very much. Guys, I used Firefox. If you want to use good.
Okay, I got it. I will try with it.
But you can fix it. You can fix it, right? You can use Gecko driver, but say public Firefox driver. Good job.
Jasprit, you can uncomment the second line and just change the driver variable as Firefox instead of Chrome in the third line.
Good. Line number 11 is where the problem is. 11.
Okay. Here?
Yeah, public. Make that a Firefox driver because you're saying you're using Gecko driver.
And line number 21 is also a problem. It should be Firefox. And line number 19 should be uncommented and 18 should be commented.
Okay,
yeah.
Good. Yeah. Now you have to import the driver. So move your mouse to the red arrow and import.
Oh.
No. Line number 11. So you fix that yourself. I should know how to fix it. No.
Yeah, I'm doing. Here it should be Firefox, right?
It's lowercase. No. Don't type. No. Never type it out. That's a bad idea. It's lowercase f. It's Firefox. It's lowercase f. Now move your mouse there. It should tell you. It should import it for you by itself. we shouldn't be having these problems anymore, guys. Everyone should know how to like open the
I
Firefox.
think at the top it should be here Firefox something.
Yeah, but you should when you move your mouse over that red, good. Import now. Import. No.
Oh, now it fixed.
Let me just make sure you imported the right thing. Okay, good. Good job. Yeah.
But Jaspreet, sorry for the interruption, but Jaspreet, you replaced the Chrome driver import, so this code will not work with Chrome.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
But if you type in Chrome again, do the same thing, import it back again, right?
Yeah. She has to import that thing again.
All right, so you're good.
Okay, yeah, I will fix. I think my Firefox stack property is also in. I think the problem with the path.
No, I think he's okay now. So run as
Yeah.
okay. There you go.
You know, I know because now that Firefox driver might be not in the C folder. I will fix that one. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, because only the Chrome is there only.
Your saying if you're getting, it tells you. So if you move your mouse to the results, I want you guys to read your problem, see, and you start seeing the driver executable does not exist. Good.
Yeah, because Firefox is not there.
No, it's not there. Good. You
Yeah.
guys can. All right. Next person. So last
Thank
person.
you.
Please, others will have to see it. Anybody else want to take control? Louis, I've been seeing your message. You want to take control?
Yes, please. I need help here.
All right. Take control. Share your screen. I think, is that Louis' screen or? No, I think this is still. So Louis, take control. So I'm sharing my screen again. Are you running Join Me from the application or from the website?
I'm running on my. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. It's on my system.
Okay, then, yeah. So just request control. Let me see if I can pass it to you so that we can wrap up in time. But Louis, let's see who you are. So I'll pass control to you. Okay, so I'll pass control to you. Accept. Okay, good. We can see your screen. It's showing as a black screen.
Is it?
I'm seeing a black screen. Okay, now I can see it.
Okay.
So what have you done? Let's read your error message. So let's first of all error message. So go to results, TestNG. Let's see what TestNG is saying. So click on your TestNG tab. There you have next to the console tab, right? Next to the console. So this is to the console. Let's leave the console alone because we're no longer running. We're running a TestNG. Good. So click on that tab. Now scroll to the top. What's the message saying? Oh, is this still running? You got nothing. Yeah? There's no message? Okay. This is, what code is this? Is this my code?
This is your code.
No, this is not my code. No way. This is not my code.
Oh, this is your code.
Yeah, mine is, like, where did you get that from? Okay, run this guy. So to run it, you are good. Run as TestNG, good. Okay, good. All right, scroll to the top. Move the error message to the top. So in your console, let's read the first error message. Yeah. So move. I want to see the first error message that's showing up.
This one.
No, that's not the first.
Cannot find class in class path.
Cannot find class in class. So you have, okay, I know what you've done wrong. What's the name of your class? Class first test. Okay, you called yours first TestNG.
Yes.
Okay, then why can't you find it? Do you have your, okay, scroll down. Let me see your project. Your package name is first TestNG package. Scroll up. Let's make sure your package name is correct.
On the side or?
Wait, I'll take mouse control. Give me mouse control.
Okay. No.
Okay, good. All right, let's see what you got. So, your package name is first TestNG package. That looks correct. Okay. Your class name is first TestNG file. Your Java. That looks good. Okay, let's scroll down. Your before test is saying launch. No, this is wrong. This is wrong. Where's the actual Gecko driver? Like, where's the file?
So it's right there.
Yeah. So you have to specify. Now, watch my code. The code I gave you. I'm going to go back to the code I gave you. I'm going to share my screen quickly. Let me take control. Look at my Gecko driver. I'm saying you have this, but this is, you're not specifying the actual exe, right? So you're missing this. So you're pointing to the directory where the code exists, but you're not telling it what file to run. So you're missing this exe. So look at the code I gave you, and you have this correct, yes, but where is the actual file? You know, what file should you run? This is the file that will open up the browser. Without this exe, the browser will never open up. So fix that quickly, and let's watch you do that. You know, I'm going to pass control back to you. Adip wants to go. Okay, Louis, you fix your problem. I think that's your problem. Let's see what Adip's problem is.
Okay.
I'm sharing control with, no, that's not what I wanted to do. I think it's all a little bit messed up right now. Okay, Louis, I pass control back to you. Let's see what you're doing. So we'll spend about 10 more minutes.
Can you hear me, Ty?
Yeah.
Well, before Adib did help me before on my other projects I did. I already copied the Gecko driver and put it here on the source, but I need to pick it from the source because where I downloaded it from is not getting it from there. So he showed me, he was very fast about it, so I can't really remember how he took it. So I've moved it down here under the source. So I want to use the source as my seed to locate the source right here.
You have to accept. I have to see what you're doing.
Okay, you don't see that. Sorry.
Okay.
This is where I moved it right now. It's right here. So I need to put this here.
You're doing advanced. Okay, so I did talk to you. Yeah, I'll say for now, keep it simple. Just use slash, another slash. Good. Another slash in there. Now type in your gecko driver.exe. So go back into your C drive.
Okay.
Yeah, see? So we want that. Gecko driver.exe. Right there. You have it. Yeah.
This one?
Yes.
So I should type it there. Okay.
Type name for name.
Louis, better would be to copy the name from there and type it and paste it here. it would be exact. Go back on the folder, press F2, press F2.
Oh, again.
Yeah, or you can just press F2 and copy. No. You don't have to copy the exe file. Just
F2.
press F2 on the F2 on the keyboard. Copy this name. Go back on the script and paste here the entire thing. Yeah, paste it and put the exe here. So like this will be exactly the same.
Okay.
Oh, someone found the problem. They said your, oh, yeah. Good job. Somebody found the problem. Louis, your package is not inside of SRC, right? You didn't do it properly. Good job. Ruby is good at this, eh? So you remember I said when you create your SRC, I said you have to right click when you're creating a package. Yeah. Your package is not inside of SRC. So I think there's a lot of, so right click. Yep. Right click on that guy. New. Other. TestNG class. Okay. Press next. Source folder. Find. You didn't do this properly. Find your project name. No. Do it again. Yeah, you're there. Browse. Find your project name. Saturday online test. No. Open it up.
Oh, okay. I did it wrong there.
SRC.
I picked all before.
Okay. Package name. If you don't have one, now create a new package name. If you don't have one, right? Yeah, good job, Ruby. I didn't notice that. Okay. All right, for time, just press finish now, so that's fine. Leave the class name as new test. And I just want to show you what you'll notice. Now, see your SRC now? There's a package inside of it. And if you open up that package, open it up. Now that's where this guy should be. That's where first TestNG should be.
Oh.
Yeah. So you can either move it. I think there's a way of moving it, or just do it again.
Copying the entire code and bring them here.
Or just create a new class, right? And put it in that package.
Okay.
All right. Next person, last person. I think any more? You guys, you're all still making silly mistakes that I think you guys should have perfected from last week. All right, Mary, you can drive. So these are all still from last week's class. Everyone should know by now how to get your Gecko driver, how to create a Firefox driver, how to locate it. So Mary, Louis, I think we're done with you. We know what the problem is. Fix it and it should be okay.
All right.
Let me pass control to Marion. Yeah. Let's see, Marion. Okay, Marion, I'm going to pass control to you. All right, Marion, we can see your screen. Okay, so you have an error message. What's the error? Can we read the error message? Results from running. Click on summary. You should tell us. Oh, by the way, can you reset your, click on Window. Let's reset your, no, Window in Eclipse. Click on Window. Reset. Click on Perspective. Reset Perspective. Reset, yeah. All right. It's always easier when we when we read the error on the bottom of the screen. So it's taking some time. Okay, this is easier to read. You have your reference library, you have your TestNG, you have your JRE. Okay, so what's the problem?
Firefox. Yeah, when I run it, I got an error like this.
All right, click on Results from Running. WebDriver could not find Firefox binary in path. Make sure you have the same problem. Your path is wrong. See the error message at the top?
Okay.
Keep moving to the right. Let's read the whole error message. No, the other one on the bottom. Not that one. Okay, you can do that too. Make sure your Firefox is installed. See, it's telling you what the problem is. Make sure your Firefox is, do you have Firefox on your machine?
Yeah.
Yeah, your path is wrong. So Eclipse can't find Firefox echo.exe. So scroll down, we'll find what the problem is now.
Okay.
Scroll down in your code, Scroll down in your code. Actual
Okay. I'm sorry.
where your path is. So you have the Eclipse prove to me that that's the right path.
Yeah.
The Eclipse code.
This is my path.
Okay, copy that. Paste it. Go back. Copy. Back into it somewhere there on a new line. So a new line. Yeah.
Okay.
Paste. Okay, so you have the Eclipse Gecko driver 23064. Okay, it looks good. Keep going.
Can
Yes, go
I
ahead.
say?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead, Pranita.
The thing is, mine, she must be having the older version. She must have not updated it to the new one which Hardeep has given.
Oh, okay. So
Because
this
then
is
it won't run. It doesn't run in Firefox. Then you get this error.
So Mary, you update Hardeep's instructions during the week.
Yes, I installed Firefox 62.
Okay, open up your Firefox. Let's see what version you're running. Yep, that's your version. Let's see. That's strange. So
Hello, Ty. I think she has the same problem as Louis, the left side, the package, I think.
Okay, let's see. Close this. Let's see your package.
Okay.
Let's see your SRC. Looks good. It has an SRC. Can you expand your TestNG? Let me see how many jar files you have inside. Good. Did you try Chrome? Does it work on Chrome? Okay, quickly try Chrome. Let's see if that would make it work.
Okay.
Fixed. Okay, Louis is fixed now. Good. Louis, we're happy. Yeah, try Chrome. Maybe you have a problem.
Okay.
So, Merlin, can you paste before starting in Chrome? Can you paste the error message to me, please? They will site. I will see what error message you're using the entire one.
Okay.
It's actually trying to launch the website. If you notice, a launch website takes 0.29 seconds. So it's actually, I think, oh, but it doesn't. Okay.
Just some failure exception.
It's something to do with that. It's not finding.
Just one question, Merlin. Are you using, by any chance, are you using the portable version of what do you call the Firefox? Can you quickly go to the control panel, please? Yeah. From the category, just say show all.
What?
Top right corner,
Okay.
yeah, show all. Large icon, sorry, large icon. Can you go to install programs? Programs and features, this one. Program and features. Can you expand this a bit? Let me see if you have Firefox installed. Can you go down? Okay. This generally comes when you don't have this. I don't know.
All right, so I will try Chrome for now. If that works, you know, at least just using Chrome. You can use Chrome with TestNG. And once you come into the office for your co-op, have a sit down with Adib. Maybe you can figure out what's wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he has to do with the version of Selenium you're running.
Ty, it could be that one, I think some registry problem would also lead to this. So you can try uninstalling and reinstalling it. That can also help.
Okay. Yeah, you could be right. All right, guys. Let's carry on. We're almost done. Let me take control back from everybody. So please, let's all go on mute again if we are not talking. And I got a new request today for a QA. Okay. So the last topic I want to spend time on is how to use or how to create a test suite in TestNG. So before I do this, I want you guys to quickly create a new package and a new TestNG class in your project so that we can run both of them at the same time. So watch what my project looks like right now. In my SRC, I have a package called First TestNG package, and in there I have, the file I shared with you all. But notice I have a second package being created. I call that functional package, and in there I have a very simple new test. This goes to Facebook. Maybe I'll share this with you guys as well. But because of time, I won't have time to fix all the error messages. Just please create a default class. It will look like this when you create a default class. Let me create one. TestNG. Oh, create TestNG class. Oh, I guess I found a shortcut. You can actually create a class very, very quickly. Click on your package and click on TestNG, create a TestNG class, and it picks up everything for you. And all you have to change is the name of your test. Okay, I can call this new test 2. Press finish. So for you guys, for your second test, all I'm looking for is in this method, let's just call it second test, right? And just do a print. So to save time, system.outprint. That's what we're doing here. system.out.println, you can print your name. Okay. So everyone should have one package with one class given to you. Create another package and create, if you want, 2 TestNG classes inside of that package. So to do that, all you have to do is go back to your SRC, right click here, say, oh, it's actually, instead of going new, other, just right click on your SRC and just say TestNG, create TestNG class. And voila. So you select the project. So don't forget, you need to select the SRC. So summer test 28 TestNG, SRC, press OK. If you're trying to create a new package, you give the package a name. If you're trying to put this class into your previous package, then you select it. See, because I have 2 packages now, I can select the package and give it a name. I'll call it new test 3. And now that you know what annotations means, you can select what annotations you want to be added for you. You know, that's what this means. So you get something like this, and all I'm asking is put a system.out.print in there. And once you are ready, I will move on. So I'll give everyone 5 minutes to quickly do that, or even 1 minute to do that. Done. Okay, if Pranita is done, that's good. Everyone else should be done. All right, if we're done, now how do we create a test suite? We have to create an XML file. And in that XML file, we're going to list the name of the package, and we're going to list the name of the class. Then we're going to run that XML file, and that's how we run test suites in TestNG. So watch me very quickly. I've done one already. I'll show you how to do yours as well. This is the XML file. I called it runMyTestSuite.xml. And when you create it, by default, everyone has seen this line before from web service. It's the same line telling Selenium or telling Java or Eclipse what version of XML we want to run. You know, and the keyboard that we're using is essentially an English keyboard. And this here, we always copy and paste. You don't have to remember this. This is also where you're telling me what version of TestNG you're running. You know, it's all copy and paste. You don't have to remember it. You can give your suite a name. It's entirely up to you. You can give your test a name. It's entirely up to you. But folks, this is what controls your test suite. So right away now, TestNG knows that Ty is trying to run 2 classes at the same time. And you can find that class by going to first TestNG package. So it goes here. And the name of the class is first TestNG file. It goes there. The second package is functional package. It goes there. And the name of the class is new test. And it goes there. And if I run this, now watch. If I right click on this and I say run as, see, is now TestNG suite. And it runs both of them at the same time, and I get a beautiful report that shows me all my tests. So without further ado, how do we create an XML? So you go to the package where you want, and it doesn't matter, guys. You can put it in this package, it doesn't matter. as long as it's inside of this source, you right-click on your package and you say, let me see if there's a shortcut. Okay, there's no shortcut for this that I found yet. You go New and you go Other. And instead of saying TestNG right here, XML, you say XML file. You press Next, and the package is already selected for you. You can name it whatever you want to name it. I called mine Run My Test Suite. You can leave the default name as New File. Press Finish, and voila, you have your new file. Now, please know you don't have to memorize this code. Nobody does. We all copy and paste. Developers typically give us this XML file, and we just change the name of the test suite and the name of the test case. So let me quickly copy from here. I'll copy the entire document, right? I'll paste it in my new file. And I want to run, let's say I want to run first TestNG. Yep, that looks good. And let me run my new test. Okay, so I'm going to send this code to everybody now, so you guys can also do the same thing. Oh, I think I've done that actually. I think I have sent it to you, but anyways, I will send it to you guys. Sometimes we call it TestNG.xml. That's the industry lingo, but you know what it means. So please change these things. This will be different for you. You can name yours whatever you want. The highlights needs to be changed to whatever it is you have. And let's send this to you guys. Okay, so I think we all. So let me know when you get it, and create your XML file. It doesn't matter where you put it, and run it. So I'm going to run mine, so you guys see that mine does work. I'm running two files. One of them is going to Facebook. So my new test, very quickly, I'll tell you what it does. It opens up Facebook and gets the page title, compares it. If it's good, my test says, put in ABC as my email, put in ABC as my password, and exit Facebook. That's what I'm trying to do. So now let me run my test suite. Just right click, run as TestNG suite, and you see new TOS demo would open up. And then very quickly, Facebook will open up, and everything will run so quickly. Voila, all done. So I had 3 tests run. So if you count it, I have 1 test here, enter login. So in Facebook, I only have 1, and in my first one, I have 2 tests. So to get your report, same thing. You refresh your project name, and you open up the test output folder, get your index.html, and voila, you have this beautiful report that shows you I have 3 methods and they all pass. Show me all of them. Bucket ticket pass. See? So this is my first class, bucket ticket login, and this is my second class, and they all passed nicely. So I'll give you guys 5 minutes to do this. If you have any questions, you can comment. Send us a comment. So Ty, yeah, exactly. So the XML is a test suite. So in an interview, if they ask you, what do we use TestNG.xml for? Test suite, that's all. We use it to control, to run all our test cases. So if you had to have 500 test scripts, it's the same thing. In this folder here, you will just list everything out in the order you want it to be run. If this is on top, then this goes first. right? So you can control, the order.
Hi, Devarshi here. I have one question here. Can I present my screen?
Yep.
Yeah, as for the test suite, I'm running these three cases. One is the same one that the reservation one, and then I made these one that just prints my name. These are the ones. This just prints out something, and this one something prints out. But in my result, it says passed, but I'm running three cases. Why it is showing me 4? See, this is my test report. Now, if I see my test report, it says it's actually running this one twice. Why? See the first case, this one, and this one is the same thing. It is running this twice. This is my question. Why is it running twice? Because I have not given that. I have not said that twice. It's just 3 cases should be there. So it should be running only 3 files, not 4. And this one only once, the first one.
I think is the way you've used your annotations. Remember, if you've used your annotations before and after, that's what's going on. Yeah, in here.
This is the same file that's what I'm running.
Right. So go back into.
So it should quit. It should quit. I'm sorry, to the report?
Yeah, go back into XML. Yep.
Hey.
Yeah, go there. Test suite.
Yeah.
Now you are running your first TestNG first, okay? And you're running new
and
test.
That's a different package.
Okay. So let's try this out. Can you comment out new test and new test 1 from your XML? And let's see what happens.
You want to comment that out?
Right. You should know how to put it. No. That's not how you put a comment in XML.
Oh.
It's right there on line 10, 11. Remember?
You commented out with the exclamation mark, right?
Good. Line 10 and 11. Default test, that's a comment. Default suite, that's a comment. Remember I taught you in class in XML how to add a comment? Yeah, just copy it. Look at line 10. Look at line 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a comment.
Oh. Sorry. Oh, no, sorry. It should be like this only, right?
But you're not ending it properly. No, that's good. Just copy. Look at default test. It's in the comments, right? Default suite is in the comments.
Yeah.
See how we started and see how. Yeah, and just do the same thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it should be pasted here, right? It gives me error.
Give me control. I'm gonna request mouse control. So you're starting properly, but you're not finishing properly. That's what I'm telling you. Like.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
Do the same thing now.
I'll do that. Okay. So you want me to run this code again?
Yeah. So that's how you debug yourself, right? When you figure out what's going on, and you have 3 things going on, why don't you comment out 2? Run 1 only and see how many times you run. Then
Now it's fine. It says 2 tickets to log in and to book a ticket. So that has 2 portions in it.
Okay. Then, so it's working, Ty. Okay, good job, Ruby. Now, on comment one more from your XML, and let's run that to see what happens.
Why it is executing book ticket after the other program? That's the main problem.
Yeah, don't forget, it runs because the second program is not doing a lot. These things run at the same time. So once Java kicks off my first TestNG, you move to the next one. The next one is only printing something.
Okay.
Very, very little. Right? So it's all parallel.
Okay, so this is because if I run all 3 at the same time, the login part and the 2 printing program will run parallelly. So definitely they will conclude at the same time, and then hence the 4th thing again logging into the same first program. Right? This is as I understand.
Exactly. Okay.
Okay.
That's good.
Okay.
I think Pranita had a question, and we'll wrap up. All right, Pranita, go for it.
Yeah, hi. After the code, like after creating the XML file, can you repeat how do we test it? We just go and just right click and just run it?
Yeah, watch the virtue. Can you run your XML?
Yeah. Run as.
There you go. Just right click on it and press run as.
Okay.
Test.
That's it. And then we just refresh it and we get the report.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah, so you can refresh the source and says refresh.
Using your class.
And yeah,
screenshot.
I do this. So yeah, and you get the index HTML. You get this report.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Now, okay. Any more questions? So why don't you show them what you did?
I'll show them in just a moment.
Yeah, let me stop recording. Let me stop recording just so that anybody that wants to watch this, they don't listen to anything else. All right, guys. Officially, we're done with 12.
Ty?
Yes.
Can
I stop recording, or is it part of the class?
Yeah, it's out of the class. You can stop it. Stop the recording.
Recording.
Yeah. So